Hey guys, it's Evan here from TV2, and next to me I have Clay Martin Croker, one of the minds behind Adult Swim. How, how you doing?
Not bad. Cleveland is cold.
Yeah, I gotta agree on that. So, just to get into it, because we're a bit short on time, first question. You started Adult Swim pretty much by using old animations from Hanna-Barbera cartoons in the 70s and reusing them. The
Yeah,
60s?
yeah. Space Ghost is 50 years old this year. Space Ghost started in 1966. So,
My goodness, wow. Look at that, Jesus. Okay, so just a quick follow up to that, and we'll move on to our second to last question. Uh, what caused you guys to choose Space Ghost first over all the others?
okay. Well, let's see. Mike Lazo was working in the mailroom at Turner Studios, and it was basically his idea to buy the Hanna-Barbera package, or all the rights to the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. That became the basis for Cartoon Network. When we first started working at Cartoon Network, and I was always freelance, but the assumption in Atlanta was, well, any old Hanna-Barbera characters that exist, we can now do new cartoons, right? Because we're all one big happy family. And they were like, no. And Hanna-Barbera was like, no, it doesn't work that way. You guys can't sit down in Atlanta and make new Yogi Bear and Flintstones cartoons. And they were like, really? We thought we could. And they said, no. In fact, we'll send you guys a list of the properties that we're okay with you doing new material on. And it was basically a list of more or less D-listers, and so, like the Chattanooga Cats and, different, I think C-Lab was probably on there, Wacky Races was on there, and Space Ghost was on there. And so they were like, wow, Wacky Races or Space Ghost, either one would be great to do a show with. Initially, they thought, let's take all the Wacky Races episodes because there's not really the opening is in the credits. You never see the race start. You just
Right.
They were going to take every Wacky Races episode, cut them all together, make them one long race. It was going to be a stunt, and it was going to be called Wacky Races Coast to Coast. Well, as the story goes, Mike Lazo went home, had a fever dream that night, woke up, and wrote on a post-it note next to his bed, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Came in the next day, everybody was geared up to work on Wacky Races, and he was like, no, new direction. It's going to be Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Andy, you take these tapes and this 3/4 inch tape machine and go in that closet and cut together the prototype of what's going to become Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Andy did. It's still great. He used scenes from Battle of the Planets as the opening. He used who was the who was the guy that did the opening theme?
That's a good question.
It wasn't Sonny Chirac originally. It was Tom Waits. So it was Tom Waits' music cut to Battle of the Planets. The two interviews were Denzel Washington and Emma Thompson. They were just taken out of it would show Space Ghost flying in his cruiser, asking Denzel questions. Then it cuts to Denzel and he's out in a field making glory. And so, it was it had this wacky kind of nonsensical, non sequitur kind of feel to it, but it was what became the basis for Coast to Coast. So that's really how that evolved and Space Ghost was the first original programming that Cartoon Network did. And it was because it was looked at as an easy retread of an existing character. So incidentally, they don't do that anymore. They kind of laid the law down. I think might have been after Harvey Birdman or one of those shows, no more retreading old characters for new repurposing old characters for new cartoons. That's why everything now is new stuff. So, okay, we're almost done.
All right, well, again, we're short for time, so we'll just move on to the next question. By the way, thank you for answering that. That is amazing. So, in one of the early shows, C-Lab 2021, you had an episode about the word bizarro.
Yes. I barely worked on C-Lab. I mean, I had microscopic involvement on that. I think the main Bizarro that you keep hearing over and over is Dave Willis, and Dave Willis was also the voice of Meatwad Carl. He's the co-creator of Aqua Teen and Squidbillies and Your Pretty Faces Going to Hell, and the list goes on, and I'm pretty sure that's him saying Bizarro in a fairly Meatwad kind of voice, over and over, like the bird thing.
The weird bird thing. Do you know why they decided to use the word Bizarro so hard?
No idea. I would say it probably came from a 2-martini lunch. At least that's what it would have come from in my case. So,
all right. Well, moving on to the last question. One of Adult Swim's biggest breaking shows apparently recently is Rick and Morty, and how do you think it will change Adult Swim if this show continues to gain in popularity?
Well, it's the first Adult Swim show that's been used in a Simpsons Open, which I thought was an odd choice with all these other shows that we've done. It's like Rick and Morty, and at the time, not a lot of people had been watching it, but still the numbers were successful enough that they were like, yes, let's use this. And I think it's one of my favorite Simpsons Opens ever. Really enjoy the show. I hope that it doesn't. There's some shows that have been on a while that I kind of feel like after a while, to paraphrase, they get too far up their own ass. And I hope that doesn't happen to that show because I really like it. But there are other shows that are still on Adult Swim now that kind of have gone that route. And I won't mention any names, but
it's all right. We won't tell anybody either, so it's okay.
All right.
Before they throw us out the window or mace us or something. Stop resisting. That's what they say, right?
But yeah, I think that was hopefully, wish we had more time, but that at least answers some stuff.
Mr. Croker, it is an honor, and it was wonderful interviewing you.
Hopefully I was, coherent and accurate. So,
I'd say close enough.
Strive for coherency and accuracy whenever I can.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Definitely appreciate it.
Good.